start. Oh yeah, I should. Let me get. Hang on.
Yeah, I got you. Situated for the pod. Welcome to Behind the Bench, and we're in for episode 2 here. Very special guest today. Eddy Lowe is joining us. Eddy, how you doing today, brother?
Doing well. Beautiful day in Elmira.
Beautiful, snowy Veterans Day. Joining us, yes, Mr. Lowe. Thank you for being here with us. Matt, why don't you let's kick this thing off and get her going? Let's drop this biscuit, as they say.
Oh, wow, you're really getting into the terms now, aren't you, buddy? So, I mean, I guess everybody who's been a hockey fan here in Elmira was here for the Jackals, kind of that, real big boom that we had in hockey here in the town, of course. A name that's going to be synonymous with that. Your number's hanging on the wall here. I guess really kind of just to start it off, what does it mean to you to kind of be back here and be a part of something it's a different type of hockey system than what you had come up in, and being able to kind of leave your mark even on the future of hockey as well? I know your son's in the system already, and just these other young men that you're really getting to kind of have a hand in helping their hockey careers go forward.
Again, it was pretty special for myself, excuse me, to be a part of the original Jackals when they first came to town. We were an expansion team, kind of similar to what the Aviators were last year. So to be able to continue to build on hockey in Elmira and to establish something that I think is pretty special, I'm excited to have that opportunity. Obviously, thank the Stemmerman family for providing us that opportunity and kind of stepping up when we needed it most. And these kids from all over the world coming to Elmira, we're pretty fortunate to have that. And I hope that people really understand that these kids are coming and submersing themselves in our community. So I'm hoping that we continue to welcome them the same as we were welcomed when we first got to town.
So you touch on that, having two different perspectives at different points in your life of coming in as an Elmira Jackal when this arena is the 25th anniversary of it.
Yes. Today is 25 years.
I just wanted to make sure
this arena's been here and open. Yeah.
We touched on that. We got that point here, but the 25th anniversary of this building being open, you coming in as an Elmira Jackal, and now fast forward and having the different perspective of coming in as a coach. What does that look like from your perspective coming to the area, maybe not knowing much about it, and then obviously having stayed in the area and wanting to see it continue to flourish and cultivate that experience?
Again, I honestly knew nothing about Elmira prior to. Todd Brost had a large impact as to me arriving here in Elmira. The irony is that we're both still in the area, which says a lot about the community, right? I was fortunate enough to meet my now wife and raise our children here. So to be able to share that with this new generation of hockey players, to help them understand that this is a special place to be, and they are pretty fortunate to have the opportunity to play here.
With the Jackals franchise, and when you had kind of first come in here, if you had to give, I guess, these kids or anybody else coming into the area kind of a crash course, what would you say is the first thing that you did or you would suggest that they do to kind of experience Elmira, experience this area, to kind of get familiar with it?
Again, I think that was a testament to Todd and the way that he rolled that out to us was, you really need to submerge yourself in the community for them to embrace you. So that was vital for the Jackals when we first got to town. So we're trying to instill that in to these kids as well, letting them know that if they're out there, they put themselves out there, that this community is going to welcome them.
When you're looking at these kids, I guess kind of what was your story coming up in hockey? Like how did you get to the point where you were here with the Jackals and stuff? What did that kind of early development look like for you as opposed to kind of the academy?
Origins of Eddy Lowe and how he came to this area, right? Obviously touch on where we're at now, but how did you get here? And just tell us that a little bit of background on that, please. Again,
a little bit different, right? Growing up in Montreal, Canada, right, where you're pretty much born with skates. I was fortunate. My father put a rink in the backyard, so myself and my siblings have been skating since literally we were probably 2 years old. So hockey was, you didn't have to travel very far in order to play. So I was fortunate with that. I grew up in a suburb of Montreal. My career took me to Canton, New York, as a young 17, I think, when I had my scholarship to St. Lawrence University. Little hiccup, a little blimp in my career there. A little bit too immature. Didn't necessarily take schooling seriously at the time, so kind of had to refocus. Went and played junior hockey in Weyburn, Saskatchewan, small little town of 10,000 people. Grew up a little bit while I was there, right? Played half a season in the East Coast Hockey League when I was done my junior career there. Quickly realized that I needed my education and how important that was. So I made the decision just before Christmas time that I was going to go back to school. Went to University of Saskatchewan, got my degree from U of S, and wanted to continue playing. Was only going to do that for a couple of years. Had my choices narrowed down to some of the warmer climates. Was going to golf, practice every morning, golf every afternoon, and play a little hockey. And then Todd Brost changed his career path and ended up in Elmira, New York, and kind of asked me to come along with him, and the rest is kind of history.
So real quick, I didn't know that we might possibly have this connection. So when you were at St. Lawrence, do you remember who the sports trainer was there at the time? Was it possibly a guy named Mark?
The sports trainer that we had, this is going back to
I know,
1993.
Okay.
So he was the trainer for the Islanders during their 4 Stanley Cups.
So you missed it by about 3 years. My cousin Mark was actually the sports trainer for St. Lawrence College. Before, when the 1998 Olympics came around, he then left the college because he was one of the sports trainers for the Olympic team. But it's kind of cool. But also,
small town, Canton, New York.
First sports trainer for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who were the affiliate for the Jackals, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, he had moved his way up from St. Lawrence and made it to Columbus. So that was kind of cool. I didn't know I had that connection there. So that was
6
kind of
degrees
nice.
of Kevin Bacon. Was that
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You just never know. You never know, right, Dish? Always making those connections.
Talking about golf, I guess, did you ever, I mean, of course you have the love of hockey. Did you ever figure like maybe you could make a go at golf as that athletic endeavor, or was that always just kind of more of a hobby pastime type of thing that you loved?
It wasn't anything even of the sorts. I'll circle back here to tell you a little story, but I didn't buy my first set of golf clubs till I arrived here in Elmira.
Okay.
So went and bought my first set of clubs. They were supposed to be the latest and greatest set. Fast forward a couple of years later, and they were deemed the worst golf clubs ever made.
Of course, it was the club's fault, not not the tangibles that went with it.
But again, the kind of circling back to that, when I was in Weyburn, Saskatchewan, again, a town of 10,000 people, they had a nine-hole golf course. My billet family, so the family that I was fortunate enough to live with, their son ended up getting a golf scholarship to Boise State, went on to play and represent Canada in the Olympics, and was the top Canadian earner in the PGA for a number of years. Unfortunately, had to retire because of some back surgeries, but Graham Dillette was an 11-year-old little puke that I used to give wedgies to, and now he's an Olympian. Kind of cool.
With the hockey program in particular, kind of circling back to the Aviators and everything like that, being the president of hockey operations, I mean, it encompasses a lot. Working here every day, it seems there's a new curveball kind of thrown your way as you're trying to figure out, because again, if people don't really understand what this program really encompasses, it's not just the NAHL product, it's the NA3 with the Buds. We've got the 18U, we've got the 16U, and then there's even some younger kids that are still under that umbrella of the Aviators Academy. I guess when you're looking at it, your personal goal, I mean, this program is only in its second year as the Aviators. It's the first year for the Academy and up. What is your goal as kind of the president of hockey operations? What would you like to see the future for these kids? Because like you said, right now we have a very international team, and I know at least part of the goal would probably be to elevate some of these local kids to give them that shot at the NAHL that they may not have right now.
Exactly. I mean, we're looking here now to grow and develop these players on and off the ice, right? Providing them an experience that they can reflect on fondly, right? So we want to make sure that we're instilling everything that's going to make them good humans, developing them hockey-wise to elevate to whatever the next level it is, and whatever their goals would be. I know the 16s, obviously the progression would be U16 to U18, U18 to then hopefully feed our NA or NA3 teams, and then from there, collegiately, whether it be ACH or Division 3, Division 1 hockey, those are all opportunities that these players will have. So it would be fantastic. Obviously, you kind of touched on the youth program here. Our children all grew up playing Elmira youth hockey. That's where they had started, and hoping to retain some of those kids, because when Billy and Johnny were growing up, there wasn't an option for them to stay here. We ended up having to send them to Rochester or Syracuse or Philadelphia, was where J-Lo was last year. So providing the opportunity for some of those elite local players to stay home and not have to go away, because I can sympathize with some of these parents that have sent their children and entrusted them to our academy, tugging at their heartstrings, because it is tough to send your kids away. You don't want to have to do that. We obviously appreciate the opportunity and the trust that they've given us in making sure that we're providing a great opportunity and great experience for their kids. But for some of the locals, love to be able to see them not have to go away to experience some elite hockey.
As you speak on some of those experiences, and in our conversations last week on our first episode with Mark Stemmerman, just talking about the importance of, obviously we all want to win. We all like to win. Winning's fun. Winning puts people in seats. But just how we're molding these individuals outside of hockey and the things they're doing, like today out there at Wisner Park for the Veterans Memorial, and just doing things like that in the community. How important is that in your vision and your approach as you're working with these athletes?
I mean, that's huge, right? It's showing them that there's more to life than just hockey, right? The life lessons,
shows them what they're playing for in their community and who they're playing for.
The life lessons that they can learn, right? I always tell these kids, your book bag is going to take you further than what your hockey bag is. But looking at some of the other opportunities that you have, giving back to the community. We touched on that when we first started the show here, that it's really important to get out and submerge yourself in the community, especially for some of these kids that aren't from the United States and don't know some of the things that go on here, right? Exposing them to those types of things is just going to create a well-rounded person that they can take beyond hockey.
Maybe end up sticking around the area like somebody else we might like, but it starts here, right? I mean, that's the beauty, I think, of these programs and the stuff that is being solidified right now in this present. Obviously talking about the past, but just the opportunity we have to bring these kids in from outside of the area, introduce them to the area, and then they end up staying here and being a prominent person in the area. I mean, you were dubbed the mayor at one point. That was a nickname given to you by the people of the community, because you were someone who came in and you embraced the culture here. You embraced the community. You immersed yourself outside of the rink. And just my conversations I have with the Bobos and Justin O'Brien and Drew Mitchells, and how highly they speak of you and regard you as what you did on the ice, but also how you carry yourself off the ice. And I just think that's a huge testament to what platform we're giving these kids to be able to do that, on and off the ice.
It's a great place to live, to raise your family. Obviously fortunate that I did meet my wife, and there's a number of us that have stuck around and made Elmira our homes after our playing days. So again, that's a testament to the community and people and where we are. I mean, it's fantastic.
Now, as we're kind of talking about the hockey program and everything, I really kind of, again, sometimes it's hard to make changes where you need to make changes in the program. And if we're talking recently, anybody who's been at the games, different coach, kind of a different system, a little bit of a different approach to the team, it really seems like recently. And, it's led to some pretty great results. We were looking at, 6-9, 6-10, something like that as the record. Things weren't going great. But now in the last 6 games, 4-1-1. I mean, great results right there to be able to kind of hang your hat on. I mean, what kind of an approach, and really honestly seeing you behind the bench more during game time, and we kind of have a bit of the behind the scenes look. It's called Behind the Bench. We should talk about it. We see you on the ice so much more, and even these last few weeks, last month or so, what has it meant to you to really kind of get maybe even a little bit more hands-on with the players and being able to be there so that you're not really wondering what that support system is, but you can see what it is in front of you and kind of how that's really directly affecting the product, because we've seen a turnaround, a major turnaround on the ice from the players.
I think it is a testament to the players, right? Their buy-in. When Lior came in, he and I sat. We discussed what we would like to see, the type of team that we would like to put on the ice. We didn't make very many changes when it comes to personnel, but I think the big thing was that we listened to what they had to say, right? We wanted to know what their feelings were, and listened, gave back to what some of the suggestions that they had made. But it's a testament to what their buy-in, their kind of fresh start, and that's how we approached it with the guys. Like, look, we're coming in. It's a fresh start for everyone. We're going to give everyone an opportunity here now. We're going to evaluate, see where our strengths are, where we can maybe improve. But we've been pretty happy with the results, obviously. But the effort and buy-in and excitement that the kids have brought, and that's a testament to them.
Absolutely. What does it mean to you? I mean, you've referenced it a couple of times, obviously, and I'm not doing this just to butter you up and get you some brownie points because she's here watching as we record the podcast. What does it mean to you to also have your wife as part of this program? Introducing the dean of student athletes and really having that. I mean, it's something that was really important to the organization itself and being able to make sure these students are getting what they need. But what does it mean for you to be able to kind of have that kind of working side by side, and being able to bring that hockey and really keep it kind of like a family thing? Because again,
I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it's great, right? She's been the support and kind of the backbone of our family for forever. She's allowed me to play hockey and kind of hold the fort down, and now for her to be a part of the vision that Mark has, and really not just part of it. I mean, she's kind of the backbone as to what's going on here now. If it wasn't for her, things could have spiraled out of control pretty quickly here.
I'm sure the players appreciate it, but also the players' parents. Knowing they have someone that can keep them updated, and from that mother's point of view, right? And just knowing that they have that contact to check in with, how's everything going, how are they doing, any issues, and just to have that sort of that sense of relief, if you will, in it, right? I mean,
that perspective that we had, right, having sent
like you having to go, your son go to Philly,
correct,
and having to check in. You have the perspective of. We've
lived it,
correct.
So we know what they're feeling, because it isn't easy sending your child away.
Yeah.
And so he went away as a 16-year-old, which is the exact age of the youngest or close to the youngest in our academy. So knowing firsthand what those emotions are and what they're faced with,
you almost know what you need to address as someone who's experienced it from the other side of it.
100%, and with her nurturing, that's just who Katie is, right? Sure. So she makes everyone feel comfortable. She's, not only the kids, right? She's there as a sounding board for those guys, but also for the parents, because we can sympathize.
Well, we talk a lot of hockey, but I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who kind of want to know, little bit about you, kind of your passions and everything else. And I know, Connor, you wanted to talk about this. You're wearing the hat. I think we should at least give a bit of a platform to, you know, some of the great work that you do with the golf tournament. I know you can speak more on that.
I mean, I look forward to this golf tournament every single year, not from a standpoint of playing golf with three of my best friends, but also just what it means and what the story behind it. And Eddie, obviously, you know, you can speak to it much better than I can, but just you can just feel the genuine approach they take to it, and the difference they're making and the cause that it goes towards. So without further ado, Forever 2-6. I know I've played in the golf tournament the past four years. So you've had it. And just to speak on that a little bit, the foundation and what it all means to you, Eddie.
Again, a testament to this community. I mean, when tragedy struck our family, this community stepped up and kind of helped us hold it together. We're forever grateful for that. Trying not to get too emotional here now, but we wouldn't have been able to get through it if it wasn't for friends, family, and people we've never met. Again, that's why it's so special. This town is unbelievable. The support that we've received from day one has been fantastic. We've been able to turn our worst nightmare into something positive. When we were faced with the tough decision with Billy, we knew that donating his organs were something that he would have wanted, and not knowing the need and how severe the need for organ donation is. New York State was one of the lowest, and in terms of people donating, and one of the highest in need. So we kind of use that as our rallying call, if you will, and something that our family takes and wants to make sure that we're advocating for and kind of helping those that are in need.
You know, and I actually want to take a moment. This is something that you didn't know about, but I do want to tell you. So my birthday, September 4th, it's when I have to go renew my driver's license. Helping you prepare for that golf tournament. I don't golf. Despite the best efforts of my grandfather to get me to be able to golf, the highest I ever made it to was the miniature golf courses. So, like, I'm pretty good at putting, but that's about it. You know, hearing about that and honestly, like, looking into it as you guys were getting prepared for that, when I went and renewed my license, now on my license, official organ donor, like, I looked into that and I saw that need, you know, and that's something that, you know, I'm sure you've inspired other people to do that. So, like, I mean, thank you for bringing that to my attention with the tournament and everything. I mean, that was kind of cool. And then, you know, just beyond that, even just hearing kind of the great, you know,
it's just a day of community. It's a day of people coming together, supporting, you know, and one of Elmira's adopted sons who came to the area and just decided to stick in the area and do great things. So and when you have people like that, it's easy to support people. It's easy to get people involved and sign up and say yes. And yeah, it's always just a great tournament. And, you know, hats off to you, Eddie, your family, just for, again, like you said, we all deal with adversity. We all have things happen to us that, you know, we wish didn't, but just be able to turn it into a positive, like you said, and be able to affect and curate positive change. You know, here, tip of the hat to you and just what you guys do for them.
The idea behind it too was Billy was the lacrosse and hockey player, so the Forever 2-6 Fund that we've established recognizes two local student athletes that had the same love and desire for sports. So there's two scholarships that are given out every year. One for a local Horseheads male or female varsity lacrosse player in the amount of $1,026, and then one for any local varsity athlete. That, again, you have to be, there's certain criteria that have to be met. You have to be an honor roll student or grader. You have to write an essay about what it means or the importance of organ donation, and you have to be a varsity athlete. So that scholarship goes out to, like I said, a local varsity athlete, and that's in the amount of $6,026 each year.
I mean, and again, it's these ways that you talk about it, and it's great to hear coaches and representatives of organizations and whatever talk about, being a part of the community, helping uplift the community. That's something that directly affects members of the community. So, I mean, it's one of those, you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? And you and your family have been able to do that, which, we're all thankful for in this community. I kind of want to maybe lift it a little bit there. I threw you a bit of a curveball, and I'm sorry there, Eddie, but I really wanted to be able to put you on the spot.
Any opportunity there
that.
is to continue to talk about Billy, I mean, that's a welcomed opportunity. Sometimes it's a little bit tough. I get a little bit choked up, but again, there was positives that have come out of this, and again, I can't reiterate enough the how thankful our family is with being part of this unbelievable community.
Now, with this, we like to get to the point where we're having a little bit of fun. We always like to kind of bring up some fun topics here, and I know Connor especially, he had to do the big reveal with the jersey earlier, just to make sure you knew where he was coming from with that. It's signed by the way,
jersey.
too. You can, if you want, turn the shoulder a little bit. They might be able to pick it up there and see it.
I haven't been that flexible in a while, Dishler, to be able to turn that. My body doesn't quite move that way anymore these
we got
days.
to the swivel chair, man.
Oh,
You can just move
that's
that, right? See?
Signature seating upstairs, by the way. These are the
signature seating upstairs. By the way, I want to throw that out there. As we're talking about, the LECOM Event Center today. Of course, I didn't realize, but today, 25 years in it. What would you say, if you could boil it down to a couple of instances? What would have been your favorite kind of moments that you've been able to have here at the arena? Whether it's as a player, in the role of a coach, in the role of the president of hockey operations, what would have been just a couple of your favorite things that have happened to you here that you can kind of remember, you take with yourself everywhere?
Well, if I don't answer this with right out of the gate, then I think I could get myself into some trouble. But my wife and I had our wedding reception here, so that's got to be up there with one of the best, right?
Where? Up, down?
Right here.
Right here.
Yeah. It was, again, go figure, it was a hockey themed, right?
Yeah.
Our bartenders were wearing referees' jerseys. Each table, as opposed to having a number, was an NHL building.
Okay.
And then your table, so if it was the Montreal Forum was the head table. Okay. But
very cool.
Let's say it was Maple Leaf Gardens. So you would have your seating assignment. You had a Toronto Maple Leafs logo, and then you went and found Maple Leaf Gardens, and that was your table. So
I think that was definitely a safe and smart answer for you. With Katie
so that
looking
had
out
to
here.
be up there. Obviously, opening night was pretty special. The Eastern Conference Finals. With that and a packed house and everyone on their feet, and it was. We've had some special moments where you get goosebumps even just thinking back on it. Jamie Thompson tying it up, or the go-ahead goal. I can't remember exactly, against Richmond, when we weren't supposed to do anything in the playoffs that year, and knocking those guys out. There was that. And then hopefully there's more of those memories and moments to come with the Aviators this season and beyond. So I'd love for these kids to experience what it was like to play in front of a packed house here. The atmosphere is second to none. We've got the best building in the Eastern Conference, if not all of the
Null.
And to have 3,000 people here, these kids wouldn't know what to do, I'm sure.
Speaking on that, and this was brought up in our conversation with Mark, the first episode last week. Obviously not focusing on the past, but looking towards the future, right? But what would you say in your experience in playing what it felt like in a full capacity building when you were at the Jackals, talking to the community, right? Talking to Matt and myself, but more so talking to the community, why is it important for them to come out and support these young men, to support these young athletes, and to fill this place up, not just from the perspective of commerce in this building, but just that, like you said, that edge, that vibe, that energy that you can't match, that these kids would be probably profoundly excited to be in front of. Like, what? Just talk on that and what the importance to. We had our blip with the Federal League. We're now here with the Null. The Aviators are here. We've landed. We're not going anywhere. Just speak on that to the community on selling them on getting them and why they need to be in this building.
So I think one of the biggest misconceptions right from day one was that this was youth hockey, right? I mean, I don't know how that got out and what that was, but that is the furthest thing from reality, right? So a lot of people maybe don't understand the level of hockey that's being played here now. One of the complaints or it was not really a complaint, but when the Jackals were here, when we first got here, the fans loved the fact of how accessible we were, and we had, the core of players that would come back year after year. So they really got to know us as people. And there's friends to this day that I've made that were fans to begin with, right? But the complaint was they wanted to see people that had the opportunity to play in the NHL. And the United League, when we first came to town, was an older league. It was more so guys that had their cup of coffee in the NHL, and now we're kind of ending their careers or finishing off. Then we switched to the ECHL, which was, you did have the opportunity to see players. It was a younger league, have the opportunity to advance, but no one wanted to be in Elmira. They felt that they should be in the American Hockey League or the NHL. So the difference was there was a higher turnover rate. Players would come and go. So they didn't get that. So the complaint then became that they didn't get to know the people, the players. So now fans have an opportunity to really meet players at their infancy of their careers and follow them along.
And also with social media now, these guys can follow these guys. They can see what they're up to. They can see where they're going. I mean, we didn't have these same advantages that we have now, where you can follow the Picarellos and the Maglios and kind of see their journey as it truly starts. The foundation of it is being laid here in Elmira, in this building, on that sheet of ice that you're so familiar and played on. But I just think just trying to get the public, again, there's been a lot of turnover in the building. Obviously that's done now. And just to kind of get them that perspective that they can buy into these guys long term, because their careers are literally just getting started.
100%. And that was kind of my next was going to be that, like, these players now, again, local folks can appreciate, right? Like Elmira College, they support Elmira College, and it's been 50 plus years that Elmira College has been here. So the level of hockey that these players are in the Null are playing, at minimum, and it's not to discredit Elmira College hockey, but at minimum is going to be Elmira College level. Every single one of these kids that are on the ice here now. And at best, it's going to be Cornell, right? Because that's another local that people can relate to. So they're going to play Division III or Division I hockey. And not only the kids that we have here playing for the Aviators, but visiting teams that come in. There's a number of Division I commits that are on teams. And like I said, all the other players are going to go on to play Division III hockey. So they can follow them throughout their collegiate career, and then, as many of the Jackals players played Division III, Division I, and then went on to play minor professional, and from that elevated and have the potential to maybe make it to the NHL. I mean, if you look at the Null, there's a number of players that started their careers, their junior careers, playing in the Null that are now in the NHL.
Well, I think it's something like, I was reading statistics on this. It's something like there's been like 100, almost close to 100. It's like 80, 90, whatever that is, players that have come from the Null and moved up to the NHL level. Not just got into a farm system, got to the level, actually played significant time in the NHL. And, you're speaking to, if they achieve their highest Division I, these guys are Division III level at least. Like the speed, the skill, you can see it on the ice. I was here for a couple of the Federal Hockey League teams, and it's nothing against those guys. They play very hard. Anybody who's going to put on that equipment, go out there and put it all out on the ice, they deserve all the credit in the world. Like, that's something a lot of people can't do. But, to speak on that, I know we have, I believe, Horn is committed to, is it Princeton?
Princeton.
Aiden McKenna is committed to Vermont, both Division I's. And then I forget who it is. Niagara. McGuire is committed to Niagara. Yep. So, we have at minimum, three Division I quality players, while these other guys are on the ice also trying to prove that they belong in those Division I programs as well. I think what the problem was when they came out and said it, They did call it, it's a junior hockey league. They did say that in the announcement, which I don't think they understood.
Doesn't give these guys
meant.
the credit.
Yeah.
It's
It's because some of these guys, they played in a junior league, and now they've stepped up a level, and now they're into the NAHL. Like
the NHL. So again, just it's the verbiage, right? It is a junior hockey league, but again, the misconception of junior is not youth, right? So like U18 is youth, but that's what feeds the junior program.
It's a great way for college programs too, if they have their eye on kids, to say, hey, send you to this program to hone your skills, develop, almost like that boarding school type experience. And I mean, we're providing them with that experience. I mean, we touched on this tenfold last episode, but with, staying on a college campus, the kids going to Notre Dame and getting that for the academy kids and getting that experience. But it almost gets them ready for that next level and shortens that gap between, that time they go to that program.
Yeah, I mean, again, every weekend there's a minimum 5 scouts from a number of universities that are here talking to our players. We go on the road. There's scouts. I mean, it's highly scouted, that's for sure. Connor Hellebuck, so again, a name. He's a Vezina Trophy winner, the best goalie in the NHL. So the best goalie in the best league in the world played in the NAHL. So again, looking at that, so I really hope that people give us an opportunity to come out and see how fast, how hard these kids play, and how entertaining and exciting that this brand of hockey is.
I'm constantly getting the feedback too. Oh, they don't fight. I'm like, oh yes, they get chippy out there. They get out there dropping the gloves, and I think there's been one every home game thus far with the.
So I mean, it's a minimum part of the game, right? I mean, people don't go to Elmira College to watch fights. So the level of hockey, I mean, the emotions get revved up, and there is the potential for the odd.
You can see that the emotions obviously run high, where they are highly competitive in their approach and what they're doing.
Absolutely. So I mean, why should you come out? I think you should come out again because it's a great brand, great quality of hockey. The improvements that the Stemmerman family have made to this building, the food that Pat has. I
was going to say one of the food and obviously we have our little smorgasbord here with our boneless buffalo chicken wings, our French fries, our chicken tenders, our chips and salsa, and just these guys working tirelessly in the hospitality and the bars and restaurants during the game. It's just a fun experience, right? Obviously, Mark was touched on the social aspect of it. You were touched on the hockey aspect of it, but there's something for everybody. Whether you're watching the hockey, whether you're not a hockey fan and you watch the hockey and you're like, oh, this is pretty incredible. And then just the atmosphere, just the environment, just to come in and bring some friends and do something on a Friday, Saturday night. In my opinion, from a social standpoint, there's not much stuff like this around to go and have that sort of experience.
In terms of a value add to that, I mean, you can't go to a movie for what it would cost you to come here, have a couple of beverages, have something to eat, and be entertained. It's impossible.
100%.
Well, and there's no spoiler alerts for our games because you don't know how it's going to end until that final horn sounds. You don't know what's going to happen. And I mean,
hopefully you do. Hopefully you know that we're going to win.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely. Well, you know what you're.
Where are you going with that?
And
obviously,
you want. Hey,
we know how it's going to end.
And Dishler keeps everyone entertained here, and there's always a chance to throw pucks at me during the chuck of pucks. So there's all sorts of opportunity for fun here.
When you were when you were playing here, I know you almost never get to see the in-between period entertainment that they put on at these hockey games because you're always in the locker room either talking to the players, you were there as a player. Have you gone to any hockey games and in particular seen any like fun in-between the periods type of stuff, intermission stuff that you found very entertaining? Because right now I'm trying to steal ideas from you as well as just kind of add, there is that fun atmosphere that always happens at a hockey game. It's not just about that. There's a whole lot that goes on around it too.
I mentioned that we're shy an equipment manager and we could use an extra set of hands on the road. If you want to make a road trip and see what other buildings do, we can write that off and I can talk to Kai and have you come out and experience that, while also helping out with some of the equipment manager
Where are we
duties.
going this weekend?
We're going to J-Town this weekend, so...
It's not that far away. I like me some Pennsylvania.
There you go. There you go. Careful what you wish for.
Listen, I'll be there if you need me. I love that stuff. But like, if you could say, what would you say, I guess, is the most fun part of hockey for you? Like, what has it given you that you would say is, the most fun or the most enjoyment that you've been able to get out of that sport?
It's funny, we were just talking about this morning, right? it's unmatched. You can't find it anywhere else. The camaraderie, the brotherhood, if you will. I worked in the quote unquote real world, right, with a normal job, and you do have your colleagues that you get along with and would consider friends, but that brotherhood is it's unmatched. You can't find it anywhere. And now we've found that within the coaching staff, and the give back that the kids now being the coach and these kids entrusting their futures in us and allowing us the privilege of coaching them and guiding them. That's rewarding now. So that's what I'm finding is the most joyful at this point is watching them grow, watching them develop, and move on. Like those are things that keep things ticking, keep things moving for me.
Does it give you like the flashbacks for you, the alliances and the bonds that you obviously created from your time with the Jackals and with your buddies, and then to kind of play a pivotal role and infiltrate these guys' bonds and the relationships, kind of the same stuff you were doing back in the day? And I mean, it's got to be fun for you to see that.
It is, and teams that win are the teams that are the closest, right? So we try and make sure that these guys understand that it's a short period of time that you have this opportunity. So it's a privilege to play and make sure that we're really caring for one another, and those are the teams that are going to have success. You talked about it. I mean, I still keep in close contact with a number of my teammates. Last weekend we were in New Hampshire, or the weekend before we were in New Hampshire, and Carl Drackenshire is living in New Hampshire, so he brought his little
number 15.
He brought his son. Well, he had a few different numbers in Elmira, but 15 was probably what he was known for most. But he brought Henrik out to watch, so I was able to connect with him again. So yeah, it's those bonds and connections and the brotherhood of hockey that is it's
that's so great.
Special.
Something that you'd be able to connect with a past player through your current influence that you're having here, just in the world's merging based on two separate experiences becoming one. That's pretty powerful. I love that, hearing stuff like that.
By the way, Jeff Crossley says hello. Just want to throw that one out there for you today.
G. Cross, what's up, buddy? Great person. Good friend of mine. I'll throw a plug in there if you ever need car, Ferrario.
Absolutely.
Fantastic spot. You're looking to play lacrosse, you may want to throw your son or daughter into Notre Dame High School. Great coach.
Yeah, and again, it's that community building that we have. So we're not going to keep you too much longer here. So we've got the roundup of questions here for you, Eddie. Number one, because you made me do it last week. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
A jackal? No, I don't know. I don't know. We've got boxers as dogs. They're emotional, pretty cuddly, kind of. That's probably who I'd end up being, a boxer.
Where you're at, yeah, okay.
You got anything you want to follow up with there, Connor? You got any pressing questions you need to ask Eddie? I mean, we get to see him basically every morning, and the atmosphere between him and the coaches coming into that front office, it's so much fun, honestly,
Absolutely.
In the morning.
Well, even, yeah, I mean, just appreciate, I was harassing Bobo earlier trying to get some dirt on you, but he wasn't coming to the table for me. But just doing,
Bobby. See, I taught him well.
He did. Good coach over here. No, just doing the stuff together like we did, going to the breakfast for the veterans, handing out tickets. Just appreciate your support, appreciate everything you do for Matt and I. And just looking forward to seeing what the future has in store here at Lecom Event Center with you at the helm, with Mark and the Stemmerman family, and I just think we're building a good culture here, a good team, and I'm just happy to be a part of it and happy to sit alongside both you two fine gentlemen. So.
Jeez, how did I catch a stray compliment there? Well, it's Behind the Bench this week, of course, with the mayor, Eddy Lowe. Hope you guys got a lot of entertainment out of this one. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.